Hi, this is Catherine. This is Taking Tea with Catherine. This is Watermelon Lime Zinger from Celestial Seasonings, which is a weird drink to be drinking in December because it is such a summery type of tea, but it doesn't feel like December today. I feel like it feels kind of like maybe late September. I don't know. And I'm okay with that because I know probably the rest of the week will be cool. So I take it while I can. However, the window's open, so you may hear a little bit of noise. Again, we take what we can get. So I was thinking of all kinds of ways I could do different plans for next year, reading plans, and I didn't want to do anything too definitive because I don't want to be stuck with anything specific. So I thought I would just do possibilities. And I was just going to stick to some classics, but then I thought, no, I'll break it up in slightly different subjects or whatever. And today I'm going to focus on translated books. So some of these books are classics. So yeah, so some of these are classics and some of them are not. So I thought it'll just be one category, and there's probably other translated books that I would like to read next year too that I didn't think of. Oh well, these are just some possibilities. One of them I think I already have set up as a kind of a group buddy read. Not that I set it up. I personally don't think I can plan any group reads yet. Not because I don't deserve it or whatever, just because I just don't think I have it in me to plan that sort of thing. And I don't really want to particularly schedule a buddy read with like just one person. No offense to anybody except my sister, because she's used to my ways of sometimes reading too slow and sometimes reading too fast. But because I don't want to be kind of liable if there's any of these books that, oh, someone else wants to read this, so we read it together, and then maybe I slow down or maybe they slow down, and then, you know. If any of these books end up becoming part of a group read, as one of them already is, that'll be great. But otherwise, these are just books that I probably individually want to read. But I will start with the one that I will be reading not alone. And I have barely cracked this book since I purchased it over probably 10 years ago, judging by this. Like, it has the bookmark in the place that it was put in the beginning. So I really, really, really want to finally read some Russian books, Russian classics especially. I purchased many of these years ago in, going toward that goal, and yet somehow I keep putting it off. But now I have a little bit of support, so hopefully that'll be a good thing. So this one is Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. I don't know if I pronounced anything right. But yes, Dostoevsky. I'm not sure if this is the one that my father read. It might have been the Brothers Karamazov. I don't know how I'm pronouncing that either. But I know it was one of Dostoevsky's books, and I remember he liked it quite a lot. And I've heard good things about this. I don't think it's particularly cheerful, but I'm pretty okay with that because reading it in January is probably a good time to read books that are a little bit not cheerful, I guess. Or I could go either way. Anyway, so I'd like to get started with this, and I'm very happy that I'm finally going to hopefully read some Russian literature. Yay, and hopefully finish. Let's see. Should I stick to, should I keep it one language at a time? If so, this is a book I started in 2019. I thought I would read it. So I started in August, and I thought I'd finish it by the end of the year. I did not make much progress. It is a big book. It is one of the big books, and when you think of Russian classics, you will probably know what I am talking about. I got up to page 42 in this translation. I got up to 42 in War and Peace. 42. That is not enough. I think I was 42 when I was reading this. Anyway, it is over 1,000. This version is 1,110 pages. So that's a lot, but I'm not necessarily completely terrified of that number. It's just that it's a bit of a commitment because there's so many books that are like 400 pages. So that's like almost reading 3 books in one. But I've heard that War and Peace, once you get used to the names, because they have names, there's so many different names, they sound similar, and there's different variations of names depending on who's saying them in relationship to them, etc. Yikes. But once you get used to that, which I hadn't yet, the story becomes really good. So I want to get there. And so this is definitely a hope. Crime and Punishment is as close to definite as I can get, but War and Peace is a hope for at some point in 2021. Okay, so moving on to, let's see. I have one from the Spanish language. I didn't realize this was translated, and then I just looked at it really quick, and I saw in one of the pages that it said, oh, now I can't find it. Give me a moment. Sorry about that. I didn't want to spend forever looking for it. That it's translated by Carol Christensen and Thomas Christensen. Okay. So this is a book called, this is kind of a well-known book called Like Water for Chocolate, a novel in monthly installments with recipes, romances, and home remedies by Laura Esquivel. Monthly installments. I wonder, so it really is monthly installments. So I'm wondering if I should read it starting in, because it starts in January. I wonder if I should read it every month or not. Will I have the patience for that? I don't know. I shall try. I shall at least try to put this in my TBR to start in January. That would be kind of cool. Yeah. So someone I knew in a group, what was it called? That was workshops for writers back when I was doing a bit of writing. I've fallen behind a little bit recently, but she gave it to me. She thought I'd find it interesting, and I might, but I just haven't read it yet. So I want to get to it. Okay, so now we are moving on to Japan. I have two books that are translated from the Japanese. One is a very short book that I meant to read this year and somehow didn't, which is a shame. This might be I'm not sure if this is a novel or a short story collection. We shall see. But I'm sure I can read this pretty quickly. That's not the reason why, but still. This is A Cat, a Man, and Two Women by Junichiro Tanizaki. It's a cat and other things, but it's got a cat in the front. I mean, how could I not have read this yet? But there's plenty of books I have with cats that I haven't read yet, so that makes some sense. I think it was Katie at Books and Things that had read this book and mentioned it. I think. So, I think she liked it, so that's not a bad promotion. She's usually got good taste. And then this one, I'm not so sure about. It's a Haruki Murakami. Murakami, is that how you say it? I read one of his books forever ago. I think it was, which one was it? Let me see. They've got the list here. Norwegian Wood, yes. I saw a picture. I saw Norwegian Wood. I got excited. Beatles, read it, and I think I liked it, but it's been so long. And I've heard good things about him. Some people say he's the best, and some people say he's kind of a guy writer. If for guy, I don't know what that means. So I don't know if that will affect me reading it, but I figure I could at least try it. I seem to have not. I bought this book off a while back, and I did not pay $1 for it, so I hope it's good. Let's see. Okay. It says, in a Tokyo suburb, a young man named Toru Okada searches for his wife's missing cat. Another cat! In a netherworld beneath the city's placid surface. As these searches intersect, he encounters a bizarre group of allies and antagonists, gripping, prophetic, and suffused with comedy and menace. This is an astonishingly imaginative detective story, an account of a disintegrating marriage, and an excavation of the buried secrets from Japan's forgotten campaign in Manchuria during World War II. So I guess this could also count as historical fiction. I might also do a video about that. But yeah, like I said, some of these intersect. It says a detective story, so it could count for teen mystery maybe. But I'm just putting this in my translated. It sounds like a pretty good story. It sounds like something I might enjoy, but we'll see. I don't know. Any recommendations about this? Okay, so how many do I have translated from the French? I seem to have 2. There was a couple others I considered, but they may come later. If not, that's fine. The first one is not a classic. It came out not too long ago, just maybe over a decade ago. I keep meaning to get to it. It's a book that looks like I will like it. I know I read the first chapter or so at some point. I mentioned it in one of my earliest videos on BookTube, but I still haven't gotten to it. And I think it might also be a mystery. I'm not sure about that, but I could be wrong. But either way. Well, yeah, in the back it says an Agatha Christie style mystery, so This is one of the Europa editions, which I've always loved the way they look. Don't always like the books, but I like the way they look. This is by Lawrence Cossé, Novel Bookstore. So, excuse me. I need some more tea. Should I read the description? It's kind of long. But anyway, it's kind of a mystery, and maybe I'll get into it more if I choose it as a TBR for a month. So yes, I didn't want to include too many mysteries, because I just figure I'm not going to do a complete video dedicated to mystery, because I kind of just pick them up. Usually, I just pick them up when the mood strikes me. I plan some of them out, but not for the year. So yeah, I really want to get to this. I love the way it looks. I've been staring at it for ages, and somehow I haven't gotten to it, and it's bookish. Whew. Speaking of, okay, trying to get to something constantly and somehow not getting to it. Oh, did I just chip my nail? Whatever. I'm just getting cranky about everything today. Except the weather. The weather's gorgeous. But I started Proust, Swan's Way, whatever you want to call it. Remembrance of Things Past. There's all kinds of... In Search of Lost Time. So many different names for it. But anyway, I started it a long time ago. I got some distance, and I have a couple of versions of it, I think. But I'm just going to hold up this copy. It's got a little schmutz on it. I don't know what that is. But I bought two of these for $1.50 back in the day in library sales of some sort. So this is, so this is Proust. I have a book about reading Proust. Someone's wrote a book called A Year of Reading Proust, which I think I got in probably Book Off for $1, because that's what I do, and that would be fun to read with this, but I don't know if it'll be spoilery, so maybe I'll wait until I get a little farther into the Proust books. I meant to read this year, at least one book, and I hadn't, and I just feel like constantly trying to get to this, and it doesn't happen. So this is kind of one of the ones I wish I could read with multiple people. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. If I can't, I definitely have a recipe for madeleines that I want to make at some point this year. I have a madeleine pan to bake with, and I haven't made them yet. And if you know anything about Proust, that's apparently these whole stories come from him, at least fictionally, having a madeleine, a little cookie pastry kind of thing that he dips in tea, I think, and eating it just brings back such a memory to him. And I always thought, and that's where they get the expression Proustian, when something you eat or smell or something just sends you back to a memory. So I really want to read Proust, not just to say I've read Proust, just because I've always thought I want to read Proust, but somehow I keep procrastinating. Can't even say the word. Procrastinating. That's a lazy way of saying it. But anyway, and here's another book, translated from ancient Greek, I guess. Another book that I read a big chunk of and will continue from page 114 out of 500 pages. That's not that big. But somehow I just didn't read it. This is the Histories by Herodotus. This also could count if I do a history, which I might do a history video. But most importantly, it's a translated book, and I know I liked it, and I meant to read it again this year, or to start it again this year, or to continue, whatever, and I just failed. So, I read a lot this year, but this would have been nice to have gotten to at some point. And maybe I will. Maybe 2021 will be the year. Maybe. Okay, so now we have 2 more books, and how long have I gone? Too long. Okay. So this is one by the winner of the Nobel Prize in literature. I'm not big on prizes, by the way. Just when I see a sticker, I have to read it. This is a writer that I've heard of many times, and I've never read anything of his, but this is kind of it's a nonfiction, I think. And so that's kind of cool. This is Orhan Pamuk, Istanbul. So it's translated from Turkish, and I've always wanted to read more about Turkey. I find it interesting. Excuse me. And I always wanted to visit, and I haven't, and who knows if I ever will. And I like Turkish food too. I love the fact that there's cats running all over the house. I love the documentary. I know there's so much more to Turkey than that, but you know, I mean, it goes back to like Bible times, you know, but I thought this could be a good book. I bought it in California, in Verbatim Books in San Diego, which was a great bookshop. Totally recommend it if you could never get to it, and just haven't read it yet. Looks like some animal bit into it. Maybe it just got dented. But yeah, so if I can read that this year, that would be very lovely. Last but not least, although I only just like just like the Proust, if I read one book out of all of that omnibus, I'd be fine. I don't need to read the entire one, so when I hold up this big volume, I don't intend to read the whole thing. Oh my goodness, it's another winner of the Nobel Prize. Got a lot of winners here, don't I? Anybody else winning Nobel Prizes in this group? All right, we don't need to know. But I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. I would know if I had. This is translated from Arabic. And this is Naguib Mahfouz. I could be pronouncing it wrong. It could be Naguib. Who knows? But this is the Cairo trilogy. I've heard great things about this. This is an Everyman's Library edition. Yep, it was from Book Off. I was like, definitely don't remember ordering this ever. And so there's three books in here. One is Palace Walk, then there's Palace of Desire, and then Sugar Street. Sugar Street, that's where I live, you know what I'm saying? All the sugar I eat. Oh, I might as well live on Sugar Street. Anyway, so yeah, so it's let's see, it says it's a trilogy of colonial Egypt. The Nobel Prize winning writer's masterwork is the engrossing story of a Muslim family in Cairo during Britain's occupation of Egypt in the early decades of the 20th century. So also kind of a historical fiction, I would think, because let's see, or not. Well, I don't know if it was published in 1956. Yeah, I guess it kind of is. I remember when he died, so I knew he couldn't have written it at the time, probably. But anyway, because I have another book of his somewhere, but these I really want to get to, at least the first book, so that would be really cool. And so that's it for now. I have others I probably could talk about, but I think that's a good amount to start with, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think it's about 10 here. If I could read 5 of them, I think I'd be pretty happy with my year. If I could read all 10 of them, I would be ecstatic. But let's not give us too much pressure. So let me know what you think of any of these books. If you've read any of these, any that I should begin with, or, you know, well, I know which one I'm beginning with is Crime and Punishment. You know, any other ones that you were very enthusiastic about, any ones that you really didn't like, whatever. If you like to talk about these kind of books in translation, classics, literature, books about cats, I don't know, whatever, feel free to subscribe and like and all the things. So this is Catherine, taking tea with Catherine. Have a lovely tea and book-filled day. Goodbye.